the huge explosion that we've seen in Israel, and nobody, basically mainstream media, just forgot about it. What has happened? Israelis were talking about. Yeah, it was some sort of test that went wrong in Israel. What is your understanding of what has happened?
Well, I mean, make no mistake, I'm not in place there to also, but anybody who says that it was controlled explosion, I have a breach to sell them. This is sheer Israeli propaganda, which they try to cover up, which evidently, from what is being circulated, they lost a huge storage of the Arrow 3 missiles. This is their allegedly best air defense complex, and yeah, that's how it looked like. And some people say it was during unloading or loading ceremony protocol or something like that, but we cannot completely exclude the hand of the Iranian special services and intelligence, because obviously when you have Iranian agents making videos from the inside of the nuclear facility in Dimona, so that tells you that if they can do that, I mean, then certainly they can do this. And it's a total embarrassment, and that also diminishes dramatically already bad, it's really not effective and not good air defense of Israel. And so that is a serious impact on their whatever remaining capabilities they have.
Yeah. Andre, we know that the war, despite having the ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon, the war is happening between the two parties,
Mhm.
naming Israel and Hezbollah, not the government in Lebanon. And we've seen recently many videos that the footage is coming out showing that these FPV drones going and hit Iron Dome batteries.
Mhm.
Is that going to be a serious problem as time goes by with these sort of attacks on their air defense system? And how important is that for the air defense of Israel?
Well, it's huge. I mean, well, it depends obviously how many have been taken out. I don't know, and nobody knows really the actual number of those Iron Dome batteries. But Iron Dome is the system which was designed to intercept essentially the uh, so-called cottage industry rockets. They call it Katyusha, whatever the name in Arabic they are, which were basically made out of the plumbing, essentially, the pipes, water pipes. Put some kind of the explosive like RPG maybe head there and launch it. Very easy, very slow ballistic trajectory, easily calculable if you have good enough computational capability, which Israel does have. And yeah, that was the thing. They will intercept whatever the number was flying. What many people do not understand, Iron Dome is not designed to intercept serious missiles, be them of the tactical or operational tactical, let alone operational essentially type, because they fly, and especially Iranian ones, which evidently do maneuver. The Iranians do have the technology with the maneuvering, well, at the terminal warheads, and you cannot intercept it with this. It's just kind of feel good, sticking the band-aid on the fourth stage cancer, elsewhere. And for that, they have those heads, arrows, and all that. Essentially, American systems. They have been developed and designed and built, actually, much of it by Raytheon and Boeing. And of course, Israel, Rafael, that's their company. They stick their, label that made in Israel. They get some whatever updates for their specific needs in software and in some other purely hardware elements, and that's it. That's what they have. But I mean, come on. I mean, since the last year and now since February, we saw what they are, and evidently this explosion doesn't help, to put it mildly. So, yeah, this is purely American view on air defense. It is absolutely backward. It's obsolete. It is designed against enemy which doesn't exist in terms of serious state. Iran already proved it in terms of the whatever was deployed, including THAAD, for example, and let alone Patriots in special military operation. They have been by different estimates, the number, the monetary expression, 130 billion have been blown out in Patriots and all other types of the air defense systems by the United States in the special military operation. And now that you have the another dozens of billions, especially when Iranians blew out to smithereens 3 out 7 thoughts, yeah, it's just backward air defense. That's what it is. And what can I say? And Israel is up there with the United States because essentially the United States is the main supplier, so to speak, of the hardware for Israel, apart from the monetary, the aid, financial aid, and it's totally bankrupt. So, and that means what they might as well not have it.
When you hear General Keane comes to Fox News and talking about we have to continue this war, we have to hit them hard, what comes to your mind? Because he basically talking about military operation. He doesn't have any other solution for what's going on in the Middle East, and he believes that the United States can do something because we know that Benjamin Netanyahu wants to, at least from the report on Axios. Axios reported that Benjamin Netanyahu wants to continue the war. Which it doesn't seem that Donald Trump is that much in because he knows the reality. At least, I don't know if he knows, but at least some of these information are getting there to him.
Pentagon is incompetent. It's incompetent across the board. They don't understand their technological capabilities realistically. They cannot assess them properly. Those people who can assess them, they are not allowed anywhere. And Kane, he's a pilot. He graduated he graduated U.S. Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs. Then he graduated all kinds of those things with general, command and general staff college in in Leavenworth, Kansas, which is not very high academic level, to put it mildly. It's nowhere near real serious military education you have to have for the 2026. And so he can say, what else can he say? He got his position as the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff is kissing ass. That's what they do. And Larry Wilkerson told you, I believe, it was you who he told them when he was the chief of staff of Colin Powell during the Gulf War, and he said we go in and into this staff meeting with all those 4 stars, 3 stars, and he said never allow the U.S. Air Force general to command anything, which I agree. These guys grew up on the Top Gun Maverick fairy tales. Kane has no clue about. We already saw. We saw it. We have the horrendous mounting in scale of the empirical evidence that those people don't understand what real war is. They know the only thing which they know: to bomb. That's it. Just let's take off, stick whatever JASM ER or some GBU JDAMs, get into the line and launch, and wow, we won. It's a complete garbage, And so when you have your officer corps, generals, admirals, who grew up on this, technological fairy tale, and who do not understand that, some people actually shoot back, and they shoot back really well at you. Well, then it hurts. And then suddenly the plan unravels. As as Mike Tyson stated, everybody has a plan until you smacked into the face on the ring, and then everything goes, completely, awry. And so that's exactly the situation. And listen, and especially again, look at the line of the basically the chiefs of the chairmen of the chiefs, Joint Chiefs of Staff. All kinds of people were the admiral, specialists in the special operations, all kinds of people who actually wouldn't have a first clue of what combined arms operations are. And that's it. The only thing United States military is capable of is to bomb from the air, because this is where the American military culture is based. It's foundation of American military mythology. And so now suddenly it doesn't work. What can he say? If he says that, okay, we have to go back, we need to rethink the whole damn thing because we actually bankrupt financially and technologically, he will immediately be, as you know, thrown out of his position. But they worked really hard. They kissed so much ass to get there that obviously he's not going to go out and say it. They are managers. They are not generals. They are not officers. That's the whole thing. They teach him how to get into whatever F-16 or F-15 and take off. Well, that's fine. It's good. America still has good pilots. The problem is, did he grow out to be basically operational strategic level officer? I don't see anyone in the U.S. military who really have a grasp of what is happening. I saw the position of Mr. Brad Cooper, who is the commander of the CENTCOM. It is, cringeworthy. It's like, I don't know, this is ridiculous. And he was actually taken to the cleaners by one of the U.S. senators or representatives on the linguistic matter. What does it mean? Annihilated, degraded, and all that. These guys do not operate in even professional military terms.
Yeah. Andrei, there are people still believing that an invasion of Iran would be the solution. Here is Keith Kellogg talking about it.
Oh, good Lord. Why?
Getting ready to do a very major attack tomorrow. I was asked by Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, and some others if we could put it off for 2 or 3 days, a short period of time, because they think that they are getting very close to making a deal. And if we can do that where there's no nuclear weapon going into the hands of Iran, I think, and if they're satisfied, we will be probably satisfied also.
I cannot believe how reasonable he's been in this whole process and how measured he's been. Look, there's been immutable principles of war, 9 of them since 500 BC. One of them is simplicity. And I'll make this simple. What I'm saying is I think we should break negotiations off. We should seize Karg Island for a couple of reasons. One, it controls 90% of their economy. You put the whole country at risk, especially the leadership. You could put a provisional government in charge, an opposition government, if you want to do it. The second thing I'd do is you go 300 miles to the east, you take Larak Island, which is their command and control hub for the strait. You put your Marines in there. The third thing you do is you line up your Avenger-class minesweepers and you escort everybody out of the Gulf on the Omani side if you want to do it, and just clear the straits out as going forward. Look, I don't trust the Iranians.
Yeah, even a Hollywood scenario would be more complicated than what it is.
The guy's an idiot. He is American general. American generals don't know what it means to conduct real war. The Avenger class minesweepers. The guy doesn't even understand what are the sea bottom mines are, which, by the way, Iran has. He doesn't understand that Iran has the equivalent of Russian Shkval missile, which, it's rocket essentially, which has this speed of in excess of 120 knots. You cannot outrun it. You cannot shoot in the water. So, and these are the other things. And of course, Keith Kellogg wouldn't have the brains to wrap and he's like, what, after 80? The guy he's stuck in the World War II, and that's why United States loses all its wars and sustains humiliating defeat after defeat. So you have these people who never won anything in their life. They lose all their wars. Kellogg was in Vietnam. He was in some special forces, then he commanded division. But again, in what campaigns, in what war did he see? He saw humiliation of the United States in Vietnam. He now observed humiliation in Afghanistan. Iraq war was lost. And so you go on, and now you have this catastrophic, humiliating defeat in special military operation, and now Iran. So this guy doesn't understand fundamentals of the modern war, which start from the air defense, serious naval force. He doesn't understand the role of the anti-shipping missiles. He has no clue. And that's the whole thing. I don't know why this person, well, again, Trump administration, it's a bunch of the nincompoops, controlled by Israel. And so what can I say? It's complete decomposition of the military political power in the United States when you look attentively at people who go and parade themselves like morons, and the only thing they can do is PR. They talk tough, but reality, as I already stated, average American general, including the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, he will be laughed out from the brigade level staff meeting in the morning during briefing, as the people who have no clue what they are dealing with. This is how bad it is. And again, listen, I wrote 4 books about it. I warned about it since 2014 that United States doesn't understand what it gets itself into. And Keith Kellogg, let him gather the proper force and control and command it for the invasion of Iran. He knows only, let's put Marines into some, island. He doesn't even understand that Iran has a long-range fires. Some of them are very long range, and I'm not talking about ballistic missiles. Obviously, he never heard about Fajr MLRS, which can deliver it from 130 kilometers away. And what's going to happen with the fixed position? The guy doesn't even have a clue what he's doing. He thinks that he can put the Marine force, which will be in fixed position and nowhere to run. And guess what's going to happen? This is assembly area. United States cannot conduct modern combined arms operation because we saw it. Where are those 13 US bases, which were like, the force projection power? Iran simply wiped them out. That's it. But you cannot explain it to American generals because they watched. Their education is basically, what can I say? The extremely low academic level in a U.S. military academy at West Point, if they get even there. Most of it are ROTC material who go in, grow up on watching movie pattern and all kinds of things. And yeah, they believe this. So Keith Kellogg evidently doesn't understand what is the fixed position. He doesn't understand it because he thinks that United States can outrange everybody. It can't for a long time now. And when you tell them that, Iran, it has a lot of long-range fires and it can bring them to bear, and U.S. Air Force will do nothing about it. So he cannot wrap his brains around. Neither can most of the U.S. Armed Forces generals. They don't understand it. Well, now they kind of feel the heat, and what can I say? That's what they have to say. They go out there in the media and say same old baloney over and over again. We have to go there. We have to, kick some ass. Okay, go. See what's going to happen.
Andrei, before the war started, Iran said if the United States start attacking Iran, it's not going to be a war between Iran and the United States. The whole region, it's going to be a regional war, which literally what has happened so far was the translation of what Iran said before the war started. And right now they're talking about if the United States decides to attack Iran again, it's going to be beyond the region. It means that Romania, Germany, Greece, all these American bases in these countries going to get hit by Iranian missiles. And what is your understanding of that? Do they really understand it? Because I don't see Iran bluffing or saying something just for the sake of saying it. Because they mean when they proved that before, as I've mentioned.
Well, I mean, some understand, some, but majority, again, you have to understand what Washington, D.C. is. It's a collection of the political scientists, journalists, and lawyers. These people have no freaking clue about anything. And even as already stated, you saw the degrading of the cultural, intellectual, and professional level of the US military. And it was steady for the last 30 years. As I already stated, the last competent people are gone from the US military. And so they really don't understand because they don't have the toolkit. They don't have the brain for that. They're not trained. They are mostly run through those soft degrees in the Ivy League where they prepare, not really prepare. It's basically professional and political fraud they produce their future leaders. They go into the Ivy Leagues to basically mingle with the same like the good old boys and girls, from this families, political families and business families, which are producing these imbeciles essentially, so if you take a look at actually their qualifications, and they cannot even wrap their brain around that Iran does have range on Romania, for example, or Greece, or a quarterly British Air Force base, for example. British are not trying to kind of distance themselves from that. But yeah, Iran has the range, and they can launch, and they have pretty much most of it, missile force intact. And so, and again, they go out in the media and lie, because this is the only thing they are trained to do. Maybe they have their private conversations that, my boy, we are screwed. Evidently, Trump begins to feel it. But again, Trump has no morality, has no humanity in him. He's into making money for the family, and he is controlled by Israel. Simple as that. And so this is what Washington is. So you cannot really communicate with them on the rational basis, because these are not, and many of them are hysterical, because some of them, and they're kind of, this rumor goes around, and they begin to sense or understand that, boy, we got our ass handed to that. That is why there's procrastination and taco happening over and over again. Trump always chickens out, because they know if they go at it again, they might. I'm not saying that they will not, out of desperation, but they don't have any good options. They don't. They simply don't. And you know what? The only thing the United States in the last 30 years was good at was at spin. They learn nothing about war, because they don't. I mean, you ask any U.S. American officer, most of them, 9 out of 10, will have no clue about, for example, Eastern Front in the World War II. They never studied it. They don't even have understanding of the scale of what was happening there. So, and when you look at that, they might go out of desperation, and by doing this, they will exacerbate already humiliating military defeat, and the United States simply doesn't have resources. I mean, how many TLAMs, Tomahawk land attack missiles, and JASSMs ER it has? No, not many. Even Kane, even other people, including Brad Cooper, they were mentioning. Yeah, we are down on the, our storages. In terms of the long-range weapons, we might need to go inside or near. I like that how they use this term. Iranian airspace. What's going to happen? Well, they will lose. They lost 42 aircraft this time. They will lose probably way more than that, because what can I say? The passive air defense, air defense ambushes and things like that. They never experienced anything like this. They beat the crap out of this pathetic Iraqi Saddam's army, which didn't have even a real air defense, which was from the, before the American Civil War for 1861, 1865. So that's oh yeah, we're good. No, you're not. And so you saw yourself what happens, and especially if it is passive, it's optronic channels which can detect you actually pretty far, up to 40 kilometers, depending on the elevation and things of this nature, obviously line of sight. But again, you have the integrated system, which is basically networked. And you saw yourself what happens. They fly, they're shut down. F-35s, A-10 Warthogs, F-15s, and things like that. So they will be coming up with all those fairy tales, like this rogue Kuwaiti pilot who shot down 3 I mean, it's kindergarten, okay? It's not mature superpower which can handle itself properly and said, okay, so I don't know. It's and again, Trump, the guy is, you can take a look at him. He's a defeated man. The only thing he's doing is making money. He is no statesman. He doesn't have single statesmanship quality. And so that's what we have. And he's controlled by Israel.